I dreamed to bless every person.
There was some heat.
What's good? I'm Kalo, and I listen to Jodeci on the weekends. I originally started gaining interest in production when I was around 10 years old. It was myself and two of my cousins. We would play the MTV Music Generator game on PlayStation, and we would use that as kind of like our thing to do. Instead of playing actual video games, that was like our video games for a long time. Like, we didn't know anything about studios or like could afford computers or anything like that, so we just made beats on PlayStation. And after a while, the game broke, so we kind of had to let it go. And years went by, and the three of us actually got back into music production, just kind of on a random idea. Like, you know, we should get back into it. And we all downloaded the Fruity Loops demo in like 08, 09. This sound is like a random arpeggiated sound that I got from like a random synth I downloaded. And I decided to go with this one because it had like a scary movie sound to it. And you know, you want something that will really catch people's ear when they hear it. And as soon as I heard it, I was just kind of like, that's different. At the time, I had never heard another song with that kind of sound in it before. So I kind of took a shot in the dark, and I was like, well, people think I'm okay at this so far, and I think it's pretty fun. So I'm gonna keep up with it. So I just saved up a little bit of bread and bought a computer that I use strictly for music production. Like, I thought I was like for real or somebody, just because I had a music computer. But my beats sucked. So I just worked and studied and slept on my keyboard and had like mouse pad marks on my face when I had to get up and go to school the next day. And after so much, you know, work and determination, I started kind of noticing the growth in music, and other people started noticing it too, and that's how situations like this came around. Kind of basic kick drum with a little boost in the low end just so it would knock a little bit harder, and then just kind of played it out so it has a little bit of bounce to it. You know, simple enough by itself, but then add more to it. Wiz and I met at a concert that he had actually in Columbus way back in like 09, way before he was who he is now. And he was touring in a Nissan. It was him, Chevy Woods, back when he was still Kev the Hustler, Sledgerin, and a couple other cats. And they were just driving themselves from show to show. And you know, just kind of spoke to him, took him to the side and was like, hey, you know what's going on? I'm a big fan of your music. And I told him I was kind of starting this whole producing thing. And he was kind of like, yeah, okay, like that's what's up, you know, keep in touch. And from there, we went back and forth via email and different stuff like that. And over time, I would send him different stuff, and he liked it more and more and told me to keep at it. And next thing you know, started hearing certain records that I produced on mixtapes and everything else. And some open hi-hats just to give it a little bit more high-end, balance out the bass from the kick. Everybody's favorite chant. I sent him the actual beat for Cabin Fever before Cushion Orange Juice came out, if I remember correctly. And it never really went anywhere. And after Rolling Papers was finalized, they needed to put something out to kind of keep people's attention until then and build off the momentum of Black and Yellow. So that's when the actual Cabin Fever mixtape came into fruition. And the song leaked like months before, and it was getting like a lot of momentum online, but it wasn't the full song, and a lot of people were like, okay, well, where can I hear the final product? And that's where it ended up being the title track for the Cabin Fever mixtape, which was February 2011. and then some third hi-hats just to kind of give it some variation so people won't get too bored of it.
Okay, how long does this process take? Like, does this take you like a week or take a few days?
My creation process really varies. Some tracks I'll just wake up one morning and be like, man, I got this idea, and then just knock it out and it'll be finished within the day or a couple hours. And then there'll be other tracks where I'll kind of start on it and then sit it down for a while and then come back to it and don't finish it for like a month. It's not necessarily about, I gotta get up and I gotta make 10 beats every day, every week, every year. You gotta focus on progression, and are those 10 beats that you're making every day good? Or what are you doing that's different from one from the other? And just make sure that everything you do has purpose, and that everything that you invest your time into is going to be something that catches people's ear. Like a basic 808 with a little bit of distortion. They actually had to do a lot of cleaning up on this 808 on the final track, because at the time I knew little to nothing about mixing music. So it started off really, really distorted like this. And then you take everything else and just kind of got a lot of stuff coming out with a lot of artists. Some you've heard of, some you haven't yet, but you definitely will soon. So just keep your eyes and ears peeled. If you want to keep in contact with me, you can follow me on Twitter at AirKalo, AIRKALO. Same thing on SoundCloud, AirKalo. I'm constantly updating with new, fresh music. And I'd like to give a special shout out to Element Studio for giving us the platform for this interview.